So you want to learn how to use Canvas Gradebook more effectively? Let's get started. In this video, we'll explore the gradebook, we'll examine your assignment space to more effectively set up your gradebook, and we'll see what students see when they look at their grades. We will also learn how to use points versus percentages, as well as how and why you should apply a grading scheme to your course. The most important thing to keep in mind is that the assignments and assignment groups you use are directly connected to the gradebook. Any graded assignment has a gradebook column. If you want to add a gradebook column, you have to add an assignment. It's also essential to know that you must use at least one assignment group. An assignment cannot be free floating. Good practice is to create assignment groups that correspond to the grade category breakdown in your syllabus. For instance, a category for quizzes, a category for exams, a category for case studies, and so on. You do not need to weight these categories if you're using points. Okay, let's take a look at your gradebook. One thing to note is that you can reorganize how your gradebook looks for you and do a few other important things in the settings. So let's open up the gradebook settings by clicking the gear icon. The settings panel has multiple tabs. There's a tab for late policies where you can set global late policies. There's a place to set your global grade posting policy, an advanced tab where you can allow final grade override, and the view options tab where you can adjust how you see your gradebook. Let's look at the view options more closely. This tab controls how your gradebook appears to you. You can change the arrangement of assignments inside the gradebook, show or not show key features, and you can adjust automatically applied status colors for late work, dropped assignments, and so on. Pull down the Arrange By menu to look at your options. The two most useful orders, I think, are organizing by due date or module. If you make changes, be sure to click Apply Settings. Glancing around the screen, you should see a download tool, a way to filter your gradebook, and other options. Do take a look at these options more closely. In the gradebook view settings, you can also hide assignment group totals. However, this will only change the view for you, not your students. Assignment group totals will also always be in percentages. We'll talk more about assignment groups a little later. You can reorder the columns with drag and drop or by clicking the settings. I'm going to move the total column to the front. Checking notes will create a notes column just after the student name so you can keep notes as you might in a paper gradebook. All right, let's take a look now at the assignment space in Canvas, which is intimately connected to your gradebook. First, be aware that you cannot have assignments outside of an assignment group, even a generic assignment group called assignments. However, most faculty will have a grade breakdown noted on the syllabus. These categories should guide your assignment groups. Any assignment group that you've not deleted from the assignment space will appear as a subtotal in your gradebook, and the students will see it. So let's get my assignments in order in this example. Let's say I'm teaching a course that uses weighted grades. We'll talk more about points later. In my syllabus grade breakdown, I have 6 categories of assignments, each of which carry specific weights. Let's add assignment groups for each of these categories in my syllabus. In your assignment space, use the plus group button at the top of the page to add a new group and give it a title that matches your syllabus. Once I've got my grade groups, I'll move each assignment into the correct group by dragging and dropping. I'll also delete any unused groups by clicking the 3 dots in the group header and deleting. Let's finish our organization here. You can also create assignment placeholders directly inside of these groups by clicking the plus icon in the group header. Once I've got my assignments into the correct assignment groups, I can weight them according to my syllabus. First, click the overall settings for your assignments. That's the three dots at the very top. Select Weight Assignments by category. Then add the specific weights to each category and save. You'll see the weight associated with each group in the group header. Click the three dots in each group to edit additional aspects of the assignment category. For instance, you can drop the lowest grade and so on. Note that you can do this even if you choose to use points. Using the assignment group features does not require you to weight your grades. So what do students see? Your gradebook view is yours, but students see something different. Let's take a look at our test student. From your gradebook, click into that student's name. A panel on the right will open with a visual overview of their scores. Click Grades. This will take you to what the students see when they look at their grades. This screen is enlarged now, so you can see the assignment groups and totals below the individual assignments. I'm going to reduce the size of the text so you can see it all together. This view is more typically how students see their grades, with the totals to the right. But what if you want to use points instead of percentages? Remember that I've weighted my grades by category, which means that currently students are seeing their grades in percentages. The default view is to show grades in percentages, regardless of whether the assignment groups are weighted. Let's change this to points. First, we need to unweight our categories. To do this, go back to assignments. Click the three dots that get you to overall assignment settings and select assignment group weights. Then uncheck the option to weight by group. Now that the groups are unweighted, we can turn percentages into points. Go back to your gradebook, find the total column, and click the three dots that appear on hover. Select Display as Points. You'll be asked to confirm. The total grade is shown in points now. If we check out what our test student sees, you'll note that the total has also changed, along with some other elements of the display. If you've set up scores to be in points, then these subtotals will be visible to students in points as well as percentages. However, in your gradebook view, you must hover or click to see the points, and you cannot change this. Again, your assignment group subtotals will always be visible, so be sure they accurately reflect your syllabus. Okay, you may wonder why there are no letter grades associated with the percentages or points. This is because your Canvas course defaults to having no associated grading scheme. Without a grading scheme, Canvas has no way of knowing if a 92 is an A or an A minus, for instance. Let's set a grading scheme. Go to Settings. The relevant setting is in Course Details. Scroll to about the middle of the options and check the Enable Grading Scheme box. Then you can select an existing grading scheme from the drop-down. I'll select the undergraduate grading scheme. You can see what this grading scheme is by clicking View. You can create your own grading scheme too. Be sure to save your changes. Now, when we go back to the grades, you'll notice a letter grade beside the test student's grade information. Okay, you've learned how to understand your gradebook view, how to use assignment groups to structure your gradebook, how your view differs from student view, how to use points instead of percentages, and how and why to use a grading scheme in your course. Well done. And thanks for watching.